A tired single dad just wanted to rest during a layover. But when a stranger sat beside him, he had no idea she was watching his every move. What happened next would change his life forever. This is a story about trust, hidden truths, and the unexpected twists that force us to confront our past. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications. Stories like this remind us that life's most ordinary moments can turn extraordinary in a heartbeat. The layover. The fluorescent lights of Chicago O'Hare Airport buzzed overhead, casting a sterile glow over Terminal B. It was 2:17 a.m., and the usual chaos of travel had dulled into a sluggish quiet. The only sounds were the distant hum of vending machines, the occasional crackle of the PA system, and the tired sighs of stranded passengers. Ethan Carter slumped into a row of stiff, blue chairs near Gate B12, his body heavy with exhaustion. His duffel bag, stuffed with camera gear and wrinkled clothes, served as a makeshift pillow. He had just wrapped up a last-minute photography gig in Detroit, a corporate event that paid well but left him drained. Now, all he wanted was to make it home to Denver in time to see his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, before school. His sister was watching her, but guilt gnawed at him. Single parenthood was a relentless balancing act, and lately, he felt like he was failing. He rubbed his face, the stubble rough against his palms. 2 years since Sarah's accident, and the weight of raising Lily alone still caught him off guard. He missed the little things, shared inside jokes, the way Sarah used to pack his lunches with stupid notes. Now, it was just him, a camera, and the constant scramble to make ends meet. A woman sat down beside him, pulling him from his thoughts. She was in her late 20s, with sharp green eyes and a no-nonsense ponytail. Her posture was relaxed, but something about her felt alert, like she was tuned into everything around her. "Rough night?" she asked, taking a sip from a paper coffee cup. Ethan managed a tired smile. "You could say that. Just trying to get home." "Delayed flight?" "Yeah, mechanical issues." "You?" She shrugged, waiting on a connection. There was a pause. Ethan noticed she wasn't carrying much, just a small backpack and that coffee. No suitcase, no neck pillow. Most people in airports at this hour were disheveled, half asleep, or irritated, but she seemed awake. Too awake. He leaned back, closed his eyes for just a second. The exhaustion was winning. When he opened them again, the woman, Claire, she'd said her name was still there. Only now, she was typing something into her phone, her thumbs moving fast. Her jaw was tight. Ethan frowned. Something felt off. A voice crackled over the PA system. "Flight 428 to Denver has been further delayed. Please stand by for updates." Great. Just what he needed. He glanced at Claire again. She hadn't reacted to the announcement. No sigh, no muttered complaint. Just that same focused expression. Then he saw it. A message flashed on her phone screen before she quickly angled it away. Target confirmed. Move in 10. Ethan's breath caught. Target? Move in? His pulse kicked up. Was he imagining things? Maybe he was just tired. But when he looked at Claire again, her eyes locked onto his, just for a second, before she smiled, polite and practiced. "You okay?" she asked. Ethan forced a nod. "Yeah, just long night." She tilted her head slightly, studying him. Then, as if deciding something, she leaned back. "Get some rest. Looks like we're going to be here a while." Ethan swallowed. Something told him sleep wasn't an option. The unseen net. Ethan kept his breathing steady, pretending to doze off, but his mind raced. Target confirmed. Move in 10. The words burned in his skull. Was he the target? And who the hell was this woman? He cracked his eyelids just enough to watch Claire. She was still typing, her thumbs moving with quick precision. Every few seconds, her eyes flicked up, scanning the terminal like she was waiting for something or someone. A cold knot formed in his stomach. He thought back over the last few days, searching for anything unusual. The Detroit job had been straightforward. Corporate headshots, a few candidates and networking event. But there was that one moment. While shooting street art near the venue, he'd captured a few impromptu shots of the city. A graffiti-covered alley, a couple arguing outside a diner, a group of men in dark jackets loading boxes into a van. At the time, it was just background noise. Now he wondered. Claire shifted beside him, her elbow brushing his arm. Ethan tensed but didn't pull away. Play it cool. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Slowly, he pulled it out, angling the screen away from her. A text from his sister. Lily's fine. She asked if he'll be back for pancakes tomorrow. You good? His throat tightened. He typed back, fingers stiff. Yeah, love you both. Blue folder in my desk if anything happens. He hit send before he could second-guess it. Across the terminal, 2 uniformed airport cops strolled past, their radios crackling. Claire's posture changed instantly, subtle but unmistakable. Her shoulders squared, her chin lifted. As the cops neared, she reached into her jacket and flashed something small and metallic. A badge? The cops nodded and moved on without a word. Ethan's pulse hammered his ears. FBI? Police? Whatever she wasn't just waiting for a flight. He needed air. Gonna grab some water, he muttered, standing abruptly. Claire looked up, her gaze sharp. I'll watch your stuff. A chill ran down his spine. Thanks. He walked fast, not toward the water fountain, but the men's room. Once inside, he splashed cold water on his face and gripped the edges of the sink. Think. What do you do now? Option 1, run. Find another flight, another airport, but that would look guilty as hell. Option 2, play dumb. Go back out there, act normal, and hope whatever this was blew over. Option 3, confront her, demand answers. He exhaled, staring at his reflection, dark circles under his eyes, stubble, the permanent crease of stress between his brows. He looked exactly like what he was, a tired dad in over his head. His phone buzzed again. Another text from his sister. Ethan, what's going on? He hesitated, then typed. Probably nothing. Just love Lily extra tonight, okay? He shoved the phone back in his pocket and pushed through the bathroom door. Claire was right where he'd left her, but now she was on her feet, one hand pressed to her ear like she was listening to an earpiece. Her other hand hovered near her waist, where a gun might be holstered. Ethan froze. Her eyes locked onto his, and for a heartbeat, neither moved. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced down, and something in her expression shifted. She lowered her hand from her ear and exhaled. When she looked back at Ethan, her voice was calm but firm. We need to talk, Mr. Carter. The world tilted. She knew his name. The truth unfolds. Ethan's mouth went dry. His first instinct was to bolt, sprint down the terminal, lose himself in the crowd. But his feet stayed rooted. Running would only make things worse. And worse than what? He still didn't even know what was happening. Claire took a step closer, her voice low. Relax. You're not under arrest. Then what the hell is this? Ethan's hands curled into fists at his sides. You've been watching me all night. You know my name. Who are you? A flicker of hesitation crossed her face before she reached into her jacket and pulled out a badge. FBI. The gold shield gleamed under the terminal lights. Special Agent Claire Bennett, she said. And you, Mr. Carter, accidentally put yourself in the middle of something dangerous. Ethan let out a sharp laugh. Dangerous? I take pictures for a living. Not just pictures. Claire's gaze darted around before settling back on him. 2 days ago, in Detroit, you photographed a meeting between members of the Los Al's cartel. They think you're a threat. The air left Ethan's lungs. The men by the van, the ones he hadn't thought twice about, that was just street photography. I'd delete half those shots without even looking at them. Except you didn't delete these. She pulled out her phone and showed him a grainy image, one of his own photos. The men loading boxes into the van. One of them was glaring straight at the camera, his face partially obscured by a hoodie. This is Mateo Ruiz, second in command of Los Al's Midwest operation. And now, he thinks you're working for us. Ethan's stomach dropped. Working for what? That's insane. Doesn't matter if it's true. What matters is what they believe. Claire's voice softened slightly. We intercepted chatter this morning. They've got people at this airport. Ethan, they're looking for you. A cold sweat broke out across his back. His mind flashed to Lily, her small hands clutching her favorite stuffed rabbit the last time he dropped her off at school. "Oh, God, you have to let me call my daughter," he said hoarsely. "Not yet." Claire's hand closed around his arm, steering him toward an empty gate area. "Right now. We need to get you out of sight. There's security office." A sudden commotion cut her off. Near the baggage claim, a man in a black hoodie was arguing with an airline employee. Too loud, too aggressive. Claire stiffened. Ethan followed her gaze. The man's face was turned away, but his stance was tense, coiled. And then, as if sensing their attention, he glanced over his shoulder, directly at Ethan. Recognition flashed in his eyes. Claire swore under her breath. "That's one of Ruiz's guys. They must have tailed you from Detroit." The man reached into his jacket. Everything happened in seconds. Claire shoved Ethan behind a row of seats just as a gunshot cracked through the terminal. Screams erupted as travelers hit the floor. Claire had her own weapon drawn, returning fire as she barked orders into her comms. Ethan crouched low, his heart slamming against his ribs. This wasn't happening. This couldn't be real. Another shot. Glass shattered somewhere overhead. Then silence. Claire's voice cut through the ringing in his ears. "Stay down." Footsteps pounded toward them. Ethan braced himself, but it wasn't the cartel. 3 armed airport police skidded to a stop beside Claire, radios blaring with frantic chatter. "Suspects down," one officer said. "But we've got reports of another possible shooter near security checkpoint B." Claire nodded, then turned to Ethan. Her face was grim. "We're out of time. You have 2 choices." She held up a hand before he could protest. "1, we walk out of here right now, and you take your chances on your own. But if Los Sols is your name, they'll find your daughter eventually." Ethan's blood turned to ice. "Or 2, Claire continued. "You come with me, we keep you and Lily safe, and you help us take these guys down." Another gunshot echoed in the distance. Somewhere in the chaos, a child was crying. Ethan closed his eyes. There was no choice. "I'm in," he said. The choice. The air inside the FBI safe house was too still, too quiet. Ethan sat on the edge of a stiff couch, his knees bouncing with restless energy. Across from him, Claire placed 2 steaming mugs of coffee on the table. The scent was bitter and strong, nothing like the cheap diner brew he usually drank. "You should try to sleep," she said. "It's been a long night." Ethan snorted, rubbing his face. "Yeah, because that's happening." His phone buzzed in his pocket. Another update from his sister. Lily was safe. Confused, but okay. That was the only thing keeping him from losing his mind right now. Claire studied him for a long moment before sliding a file across the table. "We need to talk about how this works." Ethan flipped it open. Inside were surveillance photos, the same men from his Detroit shots, but clearer now. Their faces were hard, their eyes cold. These weren't just random guys in an alley. These were killers. "You'll wear a wire," Claire said. "We've set up a meet with Ruiz's crew. They think you're a freelance journalist, looking to sell the photos for cash." Ethan's stomach twisted. "And when they realize I'm not?" Claire's jaw tightened. "They won't. We'll have eyes on you the entire time. The second the deal goes down, we move in." It sounded simple. Clean. But Ethan had seen enough crime dramas to know things never went that smoothly. "What about Lily?" he asked quietly. Claire's expression softened. "She'll be with my partner, Agent Torres, at a secured location. No one knows about her except this team." Ethan exhaled, running a hand through his hair. He wanted to believe this would work, that in 48 hours, this nightmare would be over, and he could go back to his life. But the fear clawing at his chest had other ideas. "What if I can't do this?" he whispered. Claire leaned forward, her gaze steady. "You already are." 36 hours later. The warehouse smelled of motor oil and stale cigarettes. Ethan's palms were slick with sweat as he adjusted the wire hidden under his shirt. The tiny earpiece itched, but he didn't dare touch it. Across the dimly lit room, Mateo Ruiz smirked. "You got balls, coming here alone." Ethan forced a grin, channeling every cocky photographer he'd ever met. The price goes up when the risk does. Ruiz chuckled, nodding to one of his men. A duffel bag hit the table with a heavy thud. Show me the photos first. Ethan's pulse roared in his ears as he pulled out the fake SD card the FBI had prepared. His fingers trembled, just enough to sell the act. Ruiz took it, sliding it into a laptop. The screen flickered to life, showing the doctored images. For a heartbeat, everything was still. Then Ruiz's smile vanished. Ethan's blood ran cold. They know. A shout erupted from outside. FBI! Hands in the air. And the warehouse exploded into chaos. 1 week later, the Denver sun was warm on Ethan's face as he knelt on the sidewalk outside Lily's school. She barreled into his arms, her backpack bouncing. You came, she squealed. Ethan hugged her tight, breathing in the strawberry scent of her shampoo. Always. Behind him, a car door shut. Claire leaned against her sedan, sunglasses hiding her eyes. She's got good timing, she said, nodding to Lily, just like her dad. Ethan stood, keeping one hand on Lily's shoulder. What now? Claire handed him a business card. Now you live your life. But if you ever want to change a pace. Ethan turned the card over. FBI Forensic Photography Division. Lily tugged his sleeve. Daddy, who's that? He looked at Claire, then back at his daughter. A friend. For the first time in years, the future didn't feel like a tightrope. What would you have done in Ethan's shoes? Let us know in the comments. And if this story reminded you that ordinary people can be extraordinary, hit like and subscribe for more real-life moments that will keep you on the edge of your seat.